let me just say, these are some of the best budget-friendly locomotives available right now. Now, I've wanted to check one of these out ever since I saw a couple YouTubers really bragging these things up. So I finally was able to get my hands on not only one but two of them. And the reason being is I bought one and I liked it so much I bought another one. And I gotta say, these things are pretty incredible, and I would consider them a budget friendly locomotive. Now, the reason I say budget is because of the price. The ones I have here happen to be DCC and Sound equipped, and that comes with Soundtrack's Economy decoders in them. And you also get a bag of piping and detail pieces to put on around your fuel tanks. So that's pretty cool. You can detail these up even more than they already are, actually, for a budget locomotive. And getting to the price, you can generally find these in the 160 and up range. But if you shop around, you can find some good sale prices and some good deals for these well under the 160 range. And I know they have different road names for the SD40-2s, the SD39s, and I'm not quite sure what is included in some of their newer runs as far as different locomotives. One way to tell if they are from the newer run is check out the description of your locomotive that you're looking at, and if it has LED lighting and rubber MU hoses, that's definitely from the newer run. Now, I'm so excited about these things that I'm actually just going to do this a little old school. I'm not going to use the tripod as much as I normally do, because I want to move around and show you some things on these. For what you get, man, it's hard to beat. These definitely fit in between the budget of, say, a Bachmann and an Intermountain. I mean, you're not going to touch Scale Train's quality or detail with these in this price range, but these are definitely a step above Bachmann, and I don't know if I want to say actually a step below Intermountain. We'll look here a little bit later. I will compare this to an Intermountain version. This is definitely above a Bachmann, but it's still down in the budget range. Definitely have separately applied parts like grab irons. You got your rubber MU hoses, like I said. Working ditch lights, which I'll show you some of that later on. Pretty nice detail for a ready to roll. You get a lot of these little warning labels that you don't even see on some more expensive models. Around the steps. Now, you do not have simulated tread on the walkways. It's just smooth. You also don't have see-through steps. You have typical Athearn movable windows, no cab interior. You can see wiring, but like I said, this is a budget-friendly locomotive. Truck detail's good. No complaints there. Like I said, you got all that extra piping you can add onto your fuel tank ends. You have see-through fan grills. None of the grills on the side are see-through. You do have a cab-mounted air conditioner. I don't know if that's separately applied or if that's molded on. It's really hard to tell. Got your sunshades. Back to the front, you do have the plow. Front plow. I mean, you don't get that on a Bachmann. You don't get ditch lights on a Bachmann. So, and well, we got separately applied wipers. We move around to the back. Still, you know, more grab irons separately applied. Now this particular road number has operating rear ditch lights also. But look at the rear pilot detail. You got painted receptacles, again rubber MU hoses. You have coupler cut levers, I forgot to mention that on the front. Even the simulated spare knuckle couplers. Man, can't beat it. Quick glimpse at this one now. It's a different road number. This one does not have rear ditch lights. But other than that, everything is the same. It's not extremely detailed like, say, a scale trains, but for a budget locomotive, it's got plenty of detail. I'm not the first one to review these things, so I really don't want to beat a dead horse. But I just wanted to show you guys how nice these things are for the price. And I'm pretty impressed, actually. So let's just jump right into the meat of this thing. I'm going to apply track power, and we'll start this economy up. Now I did lower the prime mover volume and actually the horn and the bell a little bit. But the first thing I noticed when I bought this thing and put it on the track, when that fired up, the sound was amazing. I couldn't get over how well it sounded. And I'll show you why. Because this thing comes with dual sugar cube speakers in it. Can you imagine that in a budget locomotive? The next thing I did, I wanted to check out the lighting. I hit the headlight, nice bright LEDs. I mean, everything looks good. Ditch lights, that's function 5. They look great. I mean, fantastic. Now it does not have lit number boards. That's the only lighting you get right there. But it is a limited decoder, so. The next thing I wondered, do the ditch lights flash since it's Norfolk Southern? Well, I'll be danged. It does. So since this one is equipped with rear ditch lights, I thought, well, let's check that next. I get a look at the rear, and again, both the rear light and ditch lights look perfect. Now let's test one more thing. Oh no, the rear ditch lights don't alternate. But that's okay, I can live with that. That's one thing about it, it's a budget locomotive. There's not enough function spaces available on the decoder to allow that. The next thing I checked was the movement. Let's bump this up to speed step 1. Imagine my surprise when that thing moved nice and smooth like that on speed step 1. I was not expecting that out of a ready to roll. Look at that. That's sweet. 2, speed step 3. Okay, the thing looks good, the thing sounds good, and the thing moves good. I mean, I'm blown away at this point. There's only one last thing I want to check. What does the drive line sound like when it's muted? So there we go, let's mute it. That's function 8. So let's just bump this up again, because surely this thing's going to make noise. That thing is so quiet and so smooth. It's hard to believe that it's just a regular brushed motor from a typical ready-to-roll line that Athearn's had for how long now? Incredible. There's no hesitation in the drive line, nothing. Smooth, slow, quiet. And just to show you, I swapped the other one out now to put on the track. They're both exactly the same way. Nice headlight, ditch lights. Alternate with the horn. Got your bell. Got your long horn and short horn. Dynamic brake sounds. And there are a few other ones further down on the functions. But those are the main ones. Ditch lights are on function 5. Function 6 is nothing. But I mean, that's pretty much what the main ones people use. But like I said, there are other sounds. You can change your horns, you can change your bells. It's an economy. I mean, program it like an economy. You can throw it on JMRI and make some changes. I already did some of that for the consisting, kill some of the lights in certain directions. And speaking of consisting, check this out. When I put these in a consist, I did not have to speed match them at all. So if you buy a couple of these and want to run them together, they will run together right out of the box. So all I did was put them in a consist, and check this out. There's speed step 1. Go to speed step 2, 3, 4. They both run at the same speed. Very easy to run together. No messing with any type of speed curves or anything. If you just want to run these two together with each other, I mean, absolutely perfect. What more could you ask for? Okay, the closest thing I have to compare to one of these is an Intermountain SD40-2. I don't own any Bachmanns any longer, and let me just tell you, the Bachmanns don't compare to this. But anyways, I'm going to compare this quick to an Intermountain SD40-2. I think it closely compares to that. So let's do the startup again of the Athearn ready to roll that I have sitting on the track. I'm not sure how well that shows up on camera, but I can tell you right now the Intermountain is not putting out near the quality sound that Athearn did. And that's mainly because of the speakers. As we go across this a little bit, I'm going to point out some differences. Now, the Intermountain does have some tread on the walkway, does have see-through steps. It already has the fuel tank piping detail already applied. But notice, it does not even have the warning labels on it like the Athearn does. Like I said, you got warning labels up by the steps, down in there. You got labels all over the place. One back here. Well, let's look at the back of the Athearn. Look at the detail on the pilot there again. We'll move back here. Now this is the one that does not have rear ditch lights, and neither do the Intermountains. These are older Intermountains. No ditch light. Now this one does have a plow on the rear, but here's a shell from one of my other Intermountains, and you'll see it's one that does not have a rear plow, but the detail is nowhere near the same as a simple Athearn ready to roll. Now the Intermountain one does have a cab interior, and you don't see any wires hanging down, and they do have lift rings. The Athearn does not have lift rings. But as you can see, the Athearn on the right, Intermountain shell on the left, they are pretty comparable in detail. You know, one has something the other one doesn't, and vice versa. So it's all, what do you want to give and take on? As far as the drive lines between the two, I will take the Athearn drive line over the Intermountain any day. I have 3 Intermountain SD40-2s, and all 3 of them needed some work. They just were prone to gear noise in the trucks and stuttering and things like that. And I have 2 of the Intermountains running really well. The third one I've worked on and worked on and worked on, and I just cannot get that thing to run nice, quiet, and smooth. I mean, it makes horrible noise from the trucks. They're just horrible gear noise. I went through a dozen set of trucks trying to find a set that works. Now either it's the trucks or the worm gear, but that's the reason the shell's off of this. I keep revisiting it, trying to get it to run, but I just can't get it. And look at this Athearn. It's using how old of a model of driveline, and it's absolutely smooth, quiet, and just performs. Now the Athearn is like 14.6 ounces, and the Intermountain is like 15.3 ounces. And the Intermountain was already known to be a very light locomotive, so the Athearn is even lighter than that. In closing, all I can say is I can now understand why some of the other YouTubers were making such a big deal about these things and raving about them. They are freaking fantastic for the price. Now, as far as the price, I gave you a price at the beginning of the video, but like I said, shop around, you can find sales, you can find deals. But another cool thing, my hobby shop, Midwest Model Railroad, is now an Athearn dealer. He got some in stock. He got this one in stock here. So now pretty much you're looking at about the 160 range for Norfolk Southern. Anywhere you go to shop, that's about the lowest you'll see. But there's other ones out there, other road names, you know, Rock Island, stuff like that. Some of them are still way down in price. So depending on what road name you're looking for, shop around, man. You can find them well under 160 with sound like this. And I mean, what a deal. Even at 160, these things are a deal. 190, yeah, you're kind of pushing the budget level there, I think. You're starting to get into some other territory. But around a 160 range or below, man, these things can't be beat. I also encourage you to go check out a couple of the videos from the YouTubers that I'm referencing in this video. Gregg at Fishplate Films did, I believe, an SD39 review. And Matt Hazard, he just changed his channel. It's Performance Locomotive something. I'm not sure, but I will leave the links in the description. Go check out their reviews, man. And Gregg at Fishplate Films, he did a very thorough and in-depth review. I mean, he took these things apart, turned them upside down, inside out. It's worth a watch. If you're interested in something like these, man, it's worth the watch.